Hey, Bobby.
Oh, he loves it.
What do you think? I just hope there's no other. It's got the clown. It looked like Pennywise. It's a bit weird. Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm.
Could go dog. Ooh, dog and clown. Can you get rid of the clown?
Clown dog.
Pirate dog.
Pirate dog, yeah, nice.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the Geek Cast. I am Bobby, the Geek Guru, once again joined by my good friend Toby. How you doing today, Toby?
What's up, Bobby? Pop, pop.
The people that are listening to this can't see that, so it really makes no point. For those that they can't see, Toby has this weird, goofy mustache on right now.
I highly recommend people watch. This is for Movember, so...
Yeah, November gone wrong.
Google allows you, in what we're doing here, to add these weird little things. They're called effects, and he decided to put a mustache on for his effect.
I think it suits me. It looks
Okay.
good.
Anyway, so Alan is joined. We're joined by Alan yet again. What's up, Alan? How are you, buddy?
I need sleep, Bobby. I need sleep.
Lord. We pushed this back for you, man, and you're still crying the blues.
Night shifts.
So we're going to start this episode like we do every episode with our Geek Outs. So we're going to kick it to Alan first. Alan, what are you geeking out about this week?
Bobby, I'm geeking out this week about Amiibo again. It's back. I've received my Falco. I've got my Famicom Rob waiting collection on Monday. I've got my Shovel Knight. I'm trying to get that sorted out. I've kind of a bit of a resurgence.
Thanks.
But I won't be getting the Animal Crossing ones. I did see them, and I thought, but I'm not attached to that franchise, so I kind of stepped back.
That makes sense.
But I am now actively trying to get the big yarn Yoshi, because
Really?
I said I wouldn't.
My question for you is this: like, are you in the situation where you're going to finalize out with the Smash and then that's it, or are you going to keep moving forward?
I don't know. I think it'll depend. I think after Smash, it's going to be a case by case. I've seen the Twilight Princess amiibo, and I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the way it kind of.
Blasphemy.
I like the idea of it, but I would rather have had maybe two separate.
Well, okay, so this is what I was talking about last week with Toby. The blocks that are under Wolf Link. What makes it look strange, I feel, is the disc, the gold disc in the middle.
Yeah.
If that was stylized to look like a rock, it would give the impression that he's up on a mountain, and you wouldn't think twice about it. But because you have these two rock pieces on a gold disc, it just looks off.
Yeah, but on the disc, there's a pattern on the disc itself, on the gold.
I get that, but you could have put that pattern on the top of the block. Like, you could have had it like where it was etched or carved into the stone. They could have done many numerous things with that to make it look cool. I don't
know what you're complaining about. I think it's gorgeous.
No, I think the actual sculpture is awesome. I'm just saying that, like, that's the one thing that's turning some people off, is that you have this gold disc and then you have two mountain pieces.
Look, it's not got any big janky bits of clear plastic up someone's backside. So if people aren't turned off by Link or other crappy amiibo that have got big bits of plastic, then they're not going to be turned off by this.
I just think of all the amiibo choices for that game, they could have picked a better one. I think.
I feel like the sculpt wise, it looks phenomenal. I think it's spot on as far as the sculpt goes. The only thing that, for me, like when you showed us that picture today, that's the one thing that pops and stands out to me. I feel like they should have done something different with that. I'm not saying that I'm not going to buy it. I already did buy it. I've already pre-ordered it. I like the sculpture altogether. It's fine. I'm just nitpicking at this point. It's not turning me off where I'm not going to get it or anything like that.
If I can get hold of the bundle, I'll probably get it just so I can say, well, I've got it.
That's probably the only way you can get it, isn't it?
Well, I've not had a look. I've been busy Christmas shopping, you know. buying for you two is like buying for the fussiest little girls you can find.
Goodness.
I'm easy, man.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna buy 2. I'm actually gonna get one to open because I like it that much.
Yeah. Toby, what are you geeking out about this week?
I'm geeking out about Lego this week because.
Oh, that's right. You did the. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we decided this year for Christmas, in our lounge, we've got a sideboard that's by the window, and we normally just put like decorations or ornaments on there. This year, we're going to have a Lego Christmas diorama. So we bought some white felt fabric to go on the bottom to act as snow, and then we bought a Lego Creator Santa's Workshop set. So 850 pieces. You've got like 2 buildings. You've got Santa and Mrs. Santa. You've got a bunch of elves and a conveyor belt with presents, and you even get a sleigh with some reindeer and everything. So yeah. So we're gonna build that, and that's gonna sit on our sideboard all month. And we got a free.
You called her Mrs. Santa.
What?
You called her Mrs. Santa.
Mrs. Claus.
That's
What?
listen.
I'm sleep deprived. I'm really sorry.
Oh Lord.
And it came with a free train, and the train like holds presents and stuff. So.
Oh Lord. Okay. So myself, what I'm geeking out about is Xenoblade Chronicles X. I watched some footage this week that Game Explained put up, and I'm excited, and there's one thing that doesn't have me excited, and the excited part is that I'll be able to play with you guys, and we'll be able to, get in teams and all that stuff, and take out monsters and all that stuff together. The part that kind of has me a little bit not as excited is I love the story of Xenoblade. I feel like it's going a different direction, and it almost feels like there's not like a story per se.
It definitely feels like an MMO, but with
it feels like an MMO or kind of like Monster Hunter. To some extent. And I'm still excited about it. I can't wait to get it and all that stuff. So I'm still geeking out about it because I started to talk to I talked to Mark from the Warp Whistle. I talked to Toby. Allan's the only one that didn't confirm that he would join us in groups. So
no, I'm on. I'm up for that.
Okay, and then we had a member of the Geek Guru group, Marley. He said that he would want to join us as well. You can only do 4 people, but I figured with our time differences and all that, we can all just jump on together at different times and all that. But the other thing that's got me a little weird about the game is you can't start that right off Jump Street. You have to earn that part. So you need to go out and pay attention to the side missions that will offer that stuff.
Yeah,
so
that seems a bit ridiculous to me.
Yeah, but you know what? It could be just because of the story that they do have involved that it makes sense. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll find out. But that, for me, moves me into what we're playing. I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles on my 3DS like crazy. A couple weeks ago, I was back and forth about getting back into it, and Toby kind of kept telling me you really got to do it, you really got to do it. And I was going to start the game over. I was only about 40 minutes in. I thought I was much further than that, and I was only about 40 minutes in because what happened was I wasn't saving properly. So I'd play a section, shut the game off, thought I saved, and I didn't, and it kept taking me back, and I had to keep replaying one section over and over again. So once I figured that out and I got it moving, but I've been working with Toby, and he's been helping me along because he's ahead of me a little bit, and I love this game. This game is, if you don't have it, you need to own it. You really need to get into this game. The storyline is solid. The voice acting is great. The soundtrack is amazing. It's just so well done. And the one thing I'll say is you have to push through the first hour or so. You have to learn the combat system. Once you learn that combat system, it becomes a breeze. And it's so good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the combat in that game is so nippy and fast-paced. Other RPGs that are turn-based, they take ages, and you get I don't know. I get a bit turned off by like turn-based RPGs now, but this one, because it's so fast-paced, you can pick your attacks like in a row, so then they'll they'll just keep doing it over and over, and
and you have like it's what's kind of cool is you'll be in a battle and more enemies will start coming in and joining the battle, and you'll have to you can get into some battles that'll run you a good 10-15 minutes, because you're bringing your characters back to life. And what I like about it is it's what keeps it fast paced, I feel, and what I really like about it is we get done a battle, whoever's dead comes back to life. Mm-hmm. Whatever energy that you've lost rebuilds immediately, and you
there's no messing about with potions in the menu.
Yeah, you don't have to stop and go through your potions and add them. And I really feel like this game is going to change how I look at RPGs in the future.
Yeah.
And how I play RPGs in the future, and that's what had me excited about X, is just because I'm like, I don't know if this game's going to wear me out or not, but I definitely feel like it's going to lead me in the right direction.
For me, that was the big kind of barrier. For me, you've got the small 3DS as well, so you'll know this pain. The text of that thing is really tiny. So I was skimming the battle.
What's hard with the text, what the issue is, for me on the smaller model, is the how-tos, the tutorials. Like that part, the text gets really small. But in the conversation pieces, it flows. You don't have. You can read that perfectly fine.
Especially on 3DS, where they've sort of downscaled everything. Like the text is a little bit fuzzy. I mean, I've got the XL, and sometimes I find some of the text is a little bit hard to read, just because it's a little bit fuzzy.
But after seeing you two kind of banging the drum again, it has kind of ignited me to try and get back into it. But for me, it's the combat. I didn't grasp it the first time, and I think I just got frustrated and went, you know what? I'm going to step back. I've got other stuff to play.
Yeah.
So kind of in a warm-up to it, I think I'll give it a go. And
I think that if you do what I did, and you ask questions, because I was asking Toby, like, all right, you want me to play this game? Fine, you're going to help me. And I don't know how to do this. And he would explain it to me. And he would tell me what to do. And once I learned, oh my god, dude, it's like phenomenal. It's such a great game. Alan, what are you playing right now?
Well, I've kind of started scraping the surface of Fallout 4. My first Fallout game, and so far I'm liking it. I kind of see all the problems some folk have, but I think I've got 3 weeks off coming up, so I've definitely got time to jump in and.
How much combat have you got into?
Not a huge amount. Kind of the first few. I've literally just got a Concord. That's how little into I am.
Yeah. So you're not far at all.
No.
I got past Concord.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were playing it like a first-person shooter, or if you were using the VATS system where you can pick what part of the body to shoot at and time slows down.
I've tried both. I think it kind of works as a bit of a balance of use it when you can, but no, it definitely isn't like Call of Duty, which is usually my wheelhouse. But
I heard that it's practically impossible to play the game all the way through without using the VATS system. It gets really hard.
Yeah, I would say that's probably true. After dealing with one of the big bosses, it's like, I'm gonna have to seriously level up and start using that. But no, I'm having fun, and I look forward to 3 weeks of boxer shorts, beer, and Fallout 4.
I actually quit the game, and I went and traded it in. It's the first game I've traded in since I got my PS4. And,
damn.
Yeah.
Bobby.
I get why people are into it. I'm not taking that from anybody. For me, this is for me. I wasn't impressed at all. I felt like it's too run wild and do what you want to do. Like, there's zero direction at all. You come out of that vault and you have no idea where you're going. There's crap all over the ground and you're picking it up, and then all of a sudden you can't run because you got too much stuff, so you don't know what to keep, what not to keep. Like, if there was some type of either tutorial system, or like, I understand that people have played the Fallout series all along, they don't need it, they can just up and go. But for people that are new to it, like, help them a little bit, like, what I like, here's the way I looked at it. When I play GTA's open world. Batman Arkham Knight, it's open world. But I kind of, once I pick where I want to go with the storyline, it leads me kind of in that direction. I like that. Like, I got all these missions coming in, and I don't know where to go to do them, how to start them. The Pip-Boy is, people are going to hate me, it's garbage. To sit there and try to figure out what you need to do with the Pip-Boy is like, that thing needs an instruction manual on its own. Like, the other thing is like, why, when you shift to third person, they put the character to the left of the screen? Why not put him in the center of the screen? So it almost forces you to stick to first person shooter.
Are you sort of looking over his shoulder a bit?
Yes.
I think they must have got that from Resident Evil 4, like how they did that over the right shoulder look, and then Gears War did it, and
it's horrible. It's you can't. So when you're trying to shoot in third person, it makes it more difficult. Like as opposed to first person. The first person, the game is a little glitchy, so the frame rate jumps a little bit, and I'm sure they'll patch that and fix that. But for me, someone that can't really last long in first person unless it's smooth, I had to keep switching to third person, and it was just like, all right, I'm done, I'm out. And what killed it for me was after I came out of Concord, I went back to where my house originally was in the game, where you start the story off, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to just take off and see what I can find. And I got out, and all of a sudden I was like, all right, where's my town? How do I get back? Like, there's no map on the screen. There's none of that. And I was like, all right, this is just too... I think Brian Altano said it best. I heard him on GameScoop, and he was like, it's like taking a $5 bill and dropping it in the middle of San Francisco and saying, go find it. With no map, know how to get there, know how to do anything, and you're just running around rummaging through stuff and trying to figure out how to get there. So I think that's... You know, like I said, I'm not knocking the game, you know, at all. Like, I understand why people like it. It's just not a game for me, and I'm fine with saying that. And, you know, people that say that they love it, hey, I understand that. Go knock yourself out, have a good time with it. It's just not something I'll ever get into again.
Yeah.
Toby, how about you? What are you playing?
Well, I'm playing more Xenoblade as well. Sort of. I find that me and Bobby are sort of encouraging each other to keep at it and keep chipping away, and so I'm about 20 hours in now. I think I'm around level 36 or 37 in Mackinac Forest, and just really enjoying it. Also playing, I played a little bit of GTA Online with my buddies, did some racing and some missions and all that stuff. But also, I played a bit more of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And at first, I was like, yeah, this game's great. But then, when it puts you into the open world, it's kind of a bit daunting of where you got to go and what you got to do. But then I got to a stage where I was in a certain area of London, and basically, you can go do the main mission, or you can go around and clear gang territories by killing like leaders in specific areas, and as you do that, you sort of clear a bit of the map, and that becomes your territory. So I kind of went around this one massive area of Lambeth, and I cleared out all of the gang members. There's probably about 6 or 8 gang members. Each of them have got a different objective or a different way to kill them. So there might be one where you have to kill it stealthily without being seen, or there'll be another one where you have to kidnap them alive and then take them somewhere. And then there was another one where there's 2 different evil gang leaders, and you've got to kill one from above, or you've got to kill them both at the same time. So and I felt like that's when the game started to click for me a bit more, because it felt almost a bit like Far Cry. In Far Cry, you've got outposts, and each outpost you go to is like its own little puzzle, and you can approach it in your own way. And going into these gang territories was kind of like going into an outpost. There's lots of gang members around, lots of roofs to climb and buildings to go in, and you can do it stealthily, or you can just go around murdering people. So, and I just sort of really got into that, and that's what I've been doing in it. So,
Nice.
Have you been playing since the first Assassin's Creed, or?
I came in at Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Okay.
I played a little bit of the very first one for about 2 hours, but then I stopped. So.
Yeah. I've never clicked with them.
Yeah.
I've been wondering if it, from the description it kind of sounds like they're bringing in new elements to kind of freshen it up. So, from what you've played now, from 4 to this one, would you say it's a good change? Do they need to make more changes?
I'd say they're both good in their own way, because 4 was great because you had the open ocean, you had your ship, like the gameplay was like going to these tropical islands, exploring the island, doing the stuff, going to another island. Whereas this one, because it's all in London, it feels different. Like the game feels a lot different, and you've got your train as your base that sort of goes around, and you've got to stay on your train, and there's like management stuff with like the gang, because you can upgrade your gang to like be stronger or take in more money and stuff like that. And there's skill point system and everything. So I think that it's different to 4, but it's just as good as 4 so far anyway.
Okay.
I've just unlocked there's like a rope launcher that you can shoot up to buildings to like get up buildings really quickly. Because they were saying that like the buildings in this game are the largest and the tallest in any Assassin's Creed game. So you got this rope launcher, and you can just shoot up to the top of the Houses of Parliament in seconds, and that's like really exhilarating to do that. And it's a lot of fun to go from building to building that way. But it's a little bit janky in that it doesn't always work how you think it will. And sometimes you walk up to a building and you expect to be able to press L1 and just shoot straight up, but you keep tapping L1 and nothing's happening. And you can clearly see points where you can grapple to, but it won't work. So it kind of works when it wants to. So I mean, that's my only fault with it so far.
For like you were saying, Alan, I started at Assassin's Creed 3, and I tried it, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't click with me. I don't know what the mechanics and stuff. Like, I like the idea of what the game is, but it's just the mechanics didn't click. But I've been wanting to go back again, so at some point I'm sure I'll go back. And the weird thing is, I've heard how good Black Flag is.
Yeah. Can you do share play it across different regions? So I was wondering if Bobby could play my copy of the game,
maybe,
and see if he likes it.
Maybe, I don't know. We'd have to try it.
We have to try that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did try getting back into Assassin's Creed 3 because I read the review. It got did not get a 10 or a 9 on IGN.
Well, Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah. I think that got a bad score, man. That was like one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
That's the thing, but I always remember it being distinctly well reviewed, and maybe that's just me with, I don't know.
Nah, 4 was through the roof. People loved
4 was through the roof. But 3 was like, 3 had such a slow start. Like there was like 2 or 3 hours at the start of that game that you had to get through. And
yeah, it was brutal.
I also played it on the Wii U. That might not have helped either.
Yes, that's the other problem with me too.
Assassin's Creed 4 on Wii U was good though.
Yeah, I heard it played well. Low-res textures, but played well.
Yeah. So we're going to jump the topics around just a little bit because there's things I want to hit. I want to make sure that we hit them. But so our first topic of the day, we're basically going to talk about our favorite TV show right now. And I basically told the guys, like, we want one show. What's your favorite? Why? Like, what are you into it about? So, Alan, I'll start with you. Right now, what are you loving on TV?
Right now, I'm going to keep it homegrown, is Doctor Who. And not just because I'm pressuring you to start watching it. It has been... it's from last season, which was really hit and miss. It was very much... there were just sporadically good episodes. It was generally quite weak. This season's just been banging them out. Week after week, it's been great.
Would you say that about the eye bogey episode?
The what one?
The eye bogey episode. With the crust in the eyes on it. It's just...
Right. Okay.
That's reaching, man.
Overall, that was a good story. The bad guy was a little bit weak, but the week before that, you had the Zygon inversion, and that really cemented Capaldi.
Yeah.
His performance in the Dark Archive, if you've not seen it, it's like when Tennant had his moment at the Christmas special. When Smith had his moment in his first episode, that was Capaldi's moment. And then this week, well, without spoiling it, mind has been blown about what happened this week. And next week's episode, I can't wait for. I'm glad I'm not working because I'm going to have a bottle of red. I'm going to sit, lights off, watching that episode myself, and I will start watching it immediately after I've watched it the first time because it looks like it's jam packed with fan service and a really dark episode. But yeah, I love Doctor Who. Bobby, you will love it too.
I told you, I watched. Me and Tony tried to get into it after Karina and Toby and I talked about it, and pretty much what we did was we watched the first episode, and I was like,
Who did you start with?
who's the guy before Tennant?
Eccleston.
Yes.
You shouldn't have started there, man.
Well, I'm just saying, I started with him, first episode, and I think we watched the second episode, and then I was like, all right, I can't watch this. So we jumped to the season finale of season 1, or whatever season but whatever, the reboot season 1, and that's where Tenet comes in, where I guess they do the
regeneration.
Regeneration. I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I watched the first episode with Tenet. I believe it's I think it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, where he's like, where he's kind of like in a coma or something. Where he's
that's his first proper episode. Yeah.
Yes. So that one was and that was good, and then we just never got back on again. So we like it. I'm not saying it's horrible. We just haven't had the time.
Trust me. You watch Tennant, you'll be hooked. You'll get into Smith's era. You'll be like every other fan. I'm not too sure about this Smith guy.
No.
He knocks out of the park.
Matt Smith.
Oh, some folk are a bit off on him, but I did actually start liking him. The way he played the Doctor was really.
I love him. He's my favourite.
And then Capaldi is just a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So trust me.
I'm good. I told you, once we take the mid-season breaks, because there's just too much on right now that I'm watching.
Oh yeah.
I can't even attempt to try to go back and watch that stuff. Toby, what about you? What's your favorite show on TV?
I'm loving The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I always have. I mean, it got to a point where it was a little bit slow when they were at the prison, I think. Because I think they drew that out a bit too long. But
I thought the prison was good. I thought last season was bad.
I liked last season though.
The
thing is, this new season's good though. Much better.
What I liked about the prison was it always seemed like with the governor there, it always seemed like something was coming. Always something was coming around the corner. And other than Rick being real passive, that I hated. That drove me up the wall.
Exactly, yeah.
But once you saw him start to click, I was like, yes, here we go. So that aspect of it, yeah, I liked it. And then last season to me was kind of weird because I wanted so many people to die last season because they were just driving me crazy. It was just madness.
I mean, the thing is that I like about The Walking Dead is it's such a character-driven show, and it seems like at some point every main character is going to get their own episode and their own backstory, and you sort of delve into these characters and how they interact with each other, and there's always like a tense moment that you never know what's really going to happen next, and the cliffhangers at the end of each episode are just brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I like about that show, and I tell people all the time, it's not a zombie show.
No, it's not.
It's what would you do in this situation show.
It's a character drama with zombies.
Yeah, and it's if I was in that situation, what would I do? That's the talk people talk about the next day. They don't go, oh, did you see that zombie rip this guy's head off? They don't talk about none of that.
I mean, it's
always like, what would you do if the wolves came after you, or what would you do if the governor came? Like, it's always those situations, and that's what people talk about. Yeah. And I feel like that's what makes it. That's the telling sign of a great TV show, is when those little things like that, where your people are talking about something different about it, and it's really good. I'm kind of under the Rick idea and the Shane before him, where kill people, just take them out, kill or be killed. Like, don't even think twice, wipe them out. And because every single person that has done them wrong or they've come across, they give them that much and they try to kill them. And it's like, you can't trust people. It's a different world. It's
so interesting how, like, especially Rick's character arc has changed him, like his personality in the way he thinks, like, because he started up as like the good cop guy, and then at some points he turns into the bad guy at some points, and he becomes like. It's almost a bit like Joel in The Last of Us. Like, towards the end of The Last of Us, Joel starts doing stuff that you start questioning whether that's the right thing for him to be doing. But he does it because he has to.
But I feel like, and this is my feeling, today, in this world, the stuff they're doing is wrong. But I feel like in that situation, you become an animal, per se. And it's survive. You have to do what you have to do to survive. So whatever that takes, like you think about it, lions, they don't have court, they don't have none of that. Like if there's something, they take care of it themselves. They'll kill another lion. Gorillas, all the same stuff. Like you have the dominant male that tells the rest of the pack what they're doing, and that's just how it is. In our society, is the one where you discuss things and you try to work it out and figure out what's going on. But in that world, in that Walking Dead world, society's done. Like until you can get rid of these walkers, which you're never going to do until you cure the disease. Mm-hmm. Which the way they're leading, it's never going to happen. Like they're just further and further down the rabbit hole they're going. But that's the only way you would be able to fix this, is if you can exterminate the disease that's in every person and then start from scratch. So until someone comes up with a cure, you're not going back to the way it was. So I feel like in that situation, you're going to have to do questionable things. You're going to have to kill in situations that you wouldn't kill normally. You know, I wouldn't walk into a convenience store and someone's grabbing the last Reese's peanut butter cup and blow their head off. You know, but
no, I don't know about that, Bobby.
No. I'm talking about in today's world.
All right.
In the zombie apocalypse, he's done. He don't even see me coming. So
I'll be like a Green Beret.
Yeah, I'll cut his hand off, take the Reese's out of his hand, and it's just, you know, it is what it is. But I feel like that's where the difference is for me. You know.
What about you, Alan? What do you think about Walking Dead?
Well, I love it, but season 5, I don't like the way they break, so I kind of dropped out when they went for their break, and I never picked it up again.
Like the mid-season break.
Yeah, so I've got half of season 5 and season 6, so I'm actually thinking I'm going to try and stay spoiler-free, and then buy the season 5 and season 6 box set and just marathon it.
Yeah. I mean, you can always get it on Netflix. Do you get Netflix or no?
My internet's that bad.
Yeah, but it's not on Netflix.
Is it not?
No, you have to have Now TV, and even then, it's all the seasons aren't always on there. So
yeah. But I do like the show. I tried getting into Fear the Walking Dead.
That was slow. Like I said, the first episode was slow, and then it started to pick up as it goes on. What I like about that is it's 2 different timelines.
Yeah. The
other one is basically the Rick coma period, you know, and basically when Rick's in the coma, and you don't know what happened. He just wakes up out of the coma.
Spoilers here, Bobby.
What's that?
Are we talking spoilers here?
You're talking about season 1, episode 1. If people are, I don't care. If you didn't watch it, then you shouldn't be on. You shouldn't even be listening to us at this point. If you don't know that, but anyway. So season 1, episode 1. Spoiler. It's already late. Rick goes into a coma, but when he wakes up, you know, the world's already collapsed around him, and there's walkers and stuff. It's not as bad, you know, as it is now. But that's where I feel like the Fear of the Walking Dead, that timeline is in that period where Rick's in a coma. You missed all that. You don't know why the world's turned, and the Fear of the Walking Dead shows kind of that turn and what happens. Because it's weird because it's weird because like even me and Tony were like, okay, this is bad, but like how does it get bad? And they show you at the end of the season like where the chaos starts to come in.
Do you think they'll continue with Fear the Walking Dead then, or are they just going to end it?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. The very first season of Walking Dead was only 6 episodes, and that's what this was, 6 episodes, and then they pushed on to, you know, and then next year that show apparently was really good, you know. And
I mean, do you think tonally it's going to stay, like it's going to differentiate itself to the normal Walking Dead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it'll differentiate itself drastically, but you're talking about a different coast, and I think what they can do is see. The Walking Dead kind of had strings attached to it because of the comic book, and they kind of keep things tonally along those lines. They'll make few changes when actors get aggravated and want to leave, like when Dale left. that was a lot of behind the scenes turmoil going on, and he wanted off the show. And so he don't technically die in the comic where he dies in the TV show. So they changed it and all that stuff. Whatever. Would you stop? I'll have to put this in the beginning. But in the Fear of the Walking Dead, they don't have those strings attached. So I think that, like, spoilers. I think that they're going to do, like, the idea at the end of season 1 of the Fear of the Walking Dead is if we get on a boat, we're safe. And that's because a lot of people think that. Like, hey, we get on a boat, we're going to be safe. We'll go out to sea, and then we'll just come back later when everything's fine and fixed. I think that what the writers have the ability to do is take those beliefs of people and throw them on their ears and go, no, this wouldn't work, and this is why it wouldn't work. So that's where they have the ability to go and do stuff that wasn't already... Like, the comic book is, like, issue number, like, 100 and something. It's over 100 issues. They're probably about 40 issues in, like, as far as the TV show goes to the thing. So they got to kind of follow that path that's going. Where the Fear of the Walking Dead, they can kind of go off and do whatever they want to do.
Can I make a recommendation? There is a really good audio drama called We're Alive.
We're Alive. Epic.
And I listened to this years ago when it first came out, and basically it is like a sort of a zombie drama thing. It's set in a world where there's these like zombies. They're kind of more like the 28 Days Later zombies, and you know, it's about this gang of survivors that get together and they end up in a tower block, like a big building, and they sort of defend it and that. And then there's another group of survivors that are just bad guys, and every episode is like over an hour long or whatever. And
where do you get it though?
It's on iTunes.
It's on iTunes?
Yeah, and you can buy it on disc.
Radio drama.
Yeah, and it's just they have sound effects and acting, and it's just like it's really like professionally produced, and you wouldn't think so because it's free.
So it's like an old time. It's basically like an old time radio show.
Yeah, but
it's really much more modern. But yeah, it is like an audio drama that you'd listen to. So.
For myself, my favorite show right now is Flash. And it's weird because comic book wise, like, I was never a huge Flash fan. Like, I knew who he was. He's in the Justice League. That was mainly the only exposure I really had to him because I read Justice League because of Batman. And then on rare occasions he might show up in Gotham City in the comics, but that was very rare that he would ever show up in Batman. So for me, it was always like, you know, I know who the guy is. Okay, he runs fast, big deal. But this television show is phenomenal. Like, it is just up and running. It is amazing. Like, everything they do is just so well done, so well put together. They do a lot of Easter eggs. So if you don't know DC Comics, there's so much stuff that you miss. And I'll be flipping out, and Tony's like, "What's the matter?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's this." And then she gets excited when I explain what it is, you know. Like Jay Garrick's helmet coming in at the end of last season and falling on the ground. People didn't know, unless you're a Flash fan, you don't realize Jay Garrick's like the original Flash in the comics, and so it's like back in the 40s. That's the Flash with the little tin helmet and stuff. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, they're bringing the different Earths together. And that's basically how they explain the DC Universe. In theory, like, you know, over time, you had like the 1940s Superman and Batman, and then it changed like when it hit the 60s. And then it changed again when it hit the 70s. And then the 80s, and then the 90s, and now, like, it's hit different eras. Like, they always talk about the Golden Age and the Silver Age and all that stuff. How DC always explained that was they completely reboot the universe, and then they would basically point it off as it's a parallel world. This is a different world, a different Earth, and there's all these different Earths where you have, like, doppelgangers that this is what happens on this Earth, and then this is what happens on this Earth. So in theory, like the Batman that I grew up with, they could change them, and they have changed them a couple times. They could change him. They could do whatever they want with him, and that's how they cover it and go, well, the Batman you read and that you love, he still exists. He's in a different Earth. And so that's the way they handle it, and that's what they're starting to show now is the different Earths starting to come in. So that's kind of cool that they're bringing all that into the comic.
I don't see why they have to try and explain it, though.
Because fans are lunatics.
Because I'm fine with having different stories and different, like, you tell one Batman story that's totally unrelated to another Batman story. That's fine. Like I can say that they're separate things. They don't need to be in a parallel universe. You don't have to make some weird excuse like.
Let me explain. So when I read comics as a kid, I'll use Superman as an example. So Superman goes up. Time goes on, he gets killed by Doomsday, he comes back to life, he winds up marrying Lois Lane, all this different stuff. The New 52 comes out, and they go, we're starting at square one. They changed his whole suit, they changed everything, never married to Lois Lane, none of that stuff. The Doomsday stuff never happened, all that stuff. It's all fresh, all new. Fans are going, what are you talking about? This all happened. They go, no, it didn't happen. None of that stuff happened.
Well, they can say it happened, but it's...
No, they say it doesn't happen. They're basically going, this stuff never happened. It's the New 52. It's starting over at zero. It's rebooting from scratch. And that's where you need this definition. Because there's fans, not me, I could care less, but there's fans that are from my generation that are flipping out because they're like, so I put 40 years, I invested, 20 years, 30 years in the comics, and it means nothing now. That's where they had to do
that still exists. It's not like they're saying it doesn't exist anymore.
They are saying it doesn't exist. Is the problem. In the realm of the comics, those stories did not happen. That's what I'm saying. When they started issue 1 of Superman and Man of Steel, Superman is no longer married to Lois Lane. But the episode or the issue before, when they ended it all, they were married. So that's where people are like, well, this doesn't make sense.
What makes comics different, though, to like TV shows or films or
James Bond?
Or video games?
They reboot James Bond kind of every
exactly. Nobody
movies.
explains why Bond's face changes every 6 years or whatever.
Well, they did recently, and what they're saying is now what they're saying is that the 007, the James Bond, is similar to Doctor Who. So Sean Connery was James Bond. Timothy Dalton, all them were James Bonds. But then when they retire, they move away, and then the next James Bond comes in and takes the role. They've recently said that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But I think that might be book. But after watching Spectre, I think the films are edging away from that, and it'll be interesting. I think when Craig's run's done, we're gonna kind of have a full reboot, and it's gonna be again.
Well, Craig was kind of like a full reboot too.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig was kind of like a full reboot.
But I think they did things with his films, again, way off topic, that tied it that this is his stories. They are all related around this Bond.
That's
so
true.
when we get a new Bond, it's going to be, it's going to be like the comics. Like you're saying, it's like, well, that was its own little thing. Yeah. Now we've got a new Bond. He will have his own little universe.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. Like, all that stuff that happened, I'm fine with it. I'm just explaining, like, why DC explains what they explain. Yeah. But for me, anyway, with the whole Flash thing, like, everything that they're doing, they're bringing all these villains in that are just awesome. And as they do more and it progresses more, I just get more excited week after week after week. So I can't wait for it.
And Zoom is a badass.
We're going to keep away, because I don't want to get Toby upset. We're going to keep away from the spoilers. But you and I already had our discussion on the side, and where we both believe that goes. Okay, so moving out of this topic, I think we got time for one more topic. Do you guys want to talk backwards compatibility or retro gaming?
I think retro gaming, because backwards compatibility, that was like, that people knew about that. People act like it's news, but it's not news.
Okay, so we'll go into retro gaming, and basically what I wanted to know was, like, and this is more or less to show our age, apparently. And basically what I wanted to know is, like, when someone says to you guys they're into retro games, what are your retro games? Like, when someone says retro gaming to you, what era comes to mind immediately for you guys?
Alan?
I think for me, just because it was like the first console I kind of threw everything into, it's the N64. I had the SNES, but or sorry, SNES, because people hate when you call it the SNES. But I was still young enough that I wasn't kind of very aware that this is what I wanted to play. It wasn't until Star Fox I said, this is Ace, this is what I want to do, and then N64 was pretty much around the corner. So I would say that. And it's definitely the one I still own the most games of, have owned most games for, and it's got the most fresh in my mind memories as a kid of games affecting me, making me just like Mario 64, that moment you first running around outside the castle.
Yeah. What about you, Toby?
Well, for me, it's anything like 16-bit to like, so you got like your SNES and your Mega Drive, or your SNES and your Genesis, right? And then you've got N64, PlayStation 1, and Dreamcast. Those two eras are like what is retro nostalgic gaming for me, because they were what I was playing growing up as a kid, like my first experiences of video games. But then, like, of course I understand that for other people, retro goes back a lot further.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people I watch on YouTube, probably yourself as well, Bowie. A lot of people, retro to them is like Atari and NES, and even older than those. Like, and I completely understand that that's retro to people, even like arcades and stuff, because I didn't play a lot of arcades growing up. But yeah. So for me, it's just like 16-bit to N64 era.
For myself, it's obviously the NES. Now, I did play the Atari 2600 and 7800 as a kid, but for me it was old. Yeah, I know. But for me it was the NES. Like, that's where I understood what games were. I was reading about games. I was buying games. Like, I was doing all that. So that to me was what video gaming started with. I always feel like when someone says retro gaming, it's where they started. It's where they got their start into video games. But for me, it was the NES. My favorite era was definitely the 16-bit era. Like, I felt like that's the era that took everything that I loved about the NES and just amped it up. And, it basically took all those games that you really loved, the gameplay-wise and the storyline-wise, and just put great graphics behind them. Because the graphics on the NES were always hit or miss. There were some that were decent. There were some that were bad, and there were some that were great. But with the Super Nintendo at that time, now you look back and there's some that aren't that great. But I feel like at that time it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, it can't get no better than this. And then and that's everybody. Everybody was like, people today, you talk to them now and they go, oh, they're never going to get better than the PS4 and the Xbox One, and they will. It'll get to the point where it advances even further. And and I think a lot of today, like, when I was growing up, a lot of the technical changes were aesthetics. Now it's a lot of AI. What the computer's doing on the sidelines, behind the scenes. That's what makes it, like when you're playing a Metal Gear and the enemies are smarter than they were when I was a kid. When I was a kid, they just walked in a pattern, and that was it. Now, they walk in patterns, but they'll also switch their patterns a little bit, depending on the weather or what's going on, or if they hear something, and it's totally different. And it's more realistic, where, like, when I was a kid, and I played Metal Gear, I played the top-down Metal Gear on the NES, and you could, if they heard you, you get into the cardboard box and you just sit there for a couple of minutes, and everything stops, and they go back and they start walking their routes again. And that's how it was Metal Gear Solid on the PS1. Same similar thing. Well, now, Alan, from playing Metal Gear Solid 5, no, you get spotted, and it's full on until you wipe out that base of every enemy. They're looking for you, they're hunting you. And that's how it is in real life, in theory. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like going into the mall and shooting one person. It's the cops are coming. and they're going to keep looking for you. And it's the same thing with Grand Theft Auto too. Like you do something in a crime mentality, they're coming for you until they catch you or kill you. And back when I was a kid, it was totally different. It was a different style. So, I like that. The AI is getting advanced nowadays, but like I said, for me, it was definitely the NES era, and then the 16-bit.
I think visually, anything 16-bit and earlier is definitely retro, because when I think of what a retro game looks like in my head, I always picture like pixel graphics.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like the way games have improved, like back in like that sort of 8-bit, 16-bit era, like that's when a lot of gaming's traits and like a lot of the things that you see in modern games, they got their foundations in that era, and that was like the golden age of when gaming just started getting good, and like obviously they've built on that since then, but it's sort of like the granddaddy of video games, like we're on the NES and the SNES and the Mega Drive and all that. So.
Yeah, and we talked about this at one time, I believe, when Julius was on the show, and we just basically were like, it's crazy. Or no, I'm sorry. It was when I interviewed with Zoink Games, and me and Klaus were talking, and because me and Klaus are like right around the same age, I think he's a year older than me, and we were discussing how it's weird that like when you go play Mario 64, it looks bad today, but you can go play Super Mario World and it looks phenomenal. It's weird how the polygons just don't age well, but pixel art just ages well, and you can improve it and make it look better and stuff, and it's amazing just to look at that difference.
With 3D games, you have to have a really strong art style for it to age well, like Wind Waker and like a lot of that cell shaded stuff does age well. I mean, some other stuff ages well as well. I mean, I can't think of any great examples right now, but yeah, like that pixel graphic art style like is timeless, I think, definitely.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I saw a game, it's on Kickstarter, and it's going for it kind of reminded me of an old Silent Hill, the original on the PS1. It's kind of got that look, and it's going to be interesting that because I agree, retro, you kind of do think 8-bit, 16-bit.
Yeah.
For me, it's always N64. That was my first big thing, but it's going to be cool, like, the next few years when 3D engines maybe get cheaper to produce, where we're going to start seeing a new wave of indie games that are now trying to replicate the kind of early PlayStation 1 N64 games.
I would love that.
Yeah, it's like ukulele and all that.
Yeah.
See, I think personally, this is what I feel. I feel like the guys that are making games now, the yacht clubs and all that stuff, like the SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Heist and all those guys are from my era. Those are the guys that were playing games when I was a kid. I think that your generation is coming soon. And I think that within 10 years, you're going to start to see that shift from the indie scene doing the pixel art games to doing the more the Banjo-Kazooies and that type of stuff. You'll start seeing more of them style games as time goes on, I think. Because I think that's going to happen. You're going to have that younger generation that's their retro gaming. That's what they look to as inspiration and what they remember so fondly as a kid. And I think that's where you're going to start to see the shift and the diversion.
I wonder what it's going to be like the generation after that. The generation that grew up on PS2 games and GameCube games. Like, are they going to be making first-person shooters in that style? Because they kind of still are already,
Yeah.
So I don't know what sort of genres will come back in a big way, or what sort of game style will come back.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap it up this week. That's what we have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube if you watched us, listening to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher if that's your avenue to listen to us. You can follow me, Instagram, Twitter, at the Geek Gurus. You can follow Allan on Twitter, Allan_Paxton. Toby's
at Toby's Take, as well as at Married_Gamers. I'd really appreciate some more people following my Married Gamers channel.
This wasn't about plugs. Why are you plugging yourself?
Dude,
say? Or yourself.
don't be
I'm
swiping me
Flash some
down.
flesh, Toby. Come on, give the audience something.
Actually, I'm in the process of doing some Amiibo Festival gameplay with Tony. I'm going to try to push her to do it today if we can, and we'll be throwing that up on Toby's channel. So people that are interested in that game will be able to check it out over there.
Yeah,
How are you finding that one?
I like it. It's, you know what? I said this before. I'll say it again. It's like the game of life, but a video game version of it. And you're using Amiibo and Animal Crossing to accomplish it. Like, I feel like it's a mix of the Animal Crossing world and the game of life. You know, it's a board game.
It's very chill, isn't it, Bobby?
Yeah, it's very laid back. The mini games are a lot of fun. The mini games are, you know, because you can go to this whole other section where you can unlock like these different mini games. The one that they showed in the direct was you take 3 Amiibo cards, you scan them in. You got 3 days to get these people off the island, and each one has different characteristics and traits to exploring, and you need to find like 3 pieces of lumber to build, or 3 logs to build the raft, and then 2 pieces of cloth to build the sail, and then you'll get off the island. And each character is able to do different things to find stuff. So that's cool. That's a lot of fun. It's a good game.
It got butchered though in reviews, didn't it?
Yeah, because people aren't, you know, they wanted something more Mario Party-esque, and it's not like Mario Party at all.
I've just noticed that's three games Nintendo released now, kind of in a row, that have not reviewed very. We had Ziplash, kind of was.
Ziplash was
that game.
This one I think is taking a beating.
Yeah.
Unfairly. Do I feel like it's a 9.0 or something? Not at all. But it's definitely a 6 or a 7, like a high 6.
Are you still getting
see a
Mario
high
Tennis?
6 to it. What's that?
That was my next one.
Yeah, are you still getting Mario Tennis?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to get it just because I enjoy tennis.
Yeah, okay.
I like the aspect of what they did was they took off, like, the Mega Mushrooms and all that, and you can just play like a pure tennis game. Like, I'm interested in that. I'll have a lot of fun. Like,
that's what Wii Tennis is for, man.
That's what?
Wii Tennis.
Yeah, come on, that's not the same.
Wii Sports Tennis, brilliant.
I don't want to get up and actually play tennis. I just want to...
love Wii Sports Tennis. You don't have to get out, just flick your wrist around.
Alright, stop. Okay, anyway.
She said.
So that is all. Thank you guys again. Peace, mother.
Bye.
See you later.
Okay.
Alligators.
Jesus.
In a while, crocodile.
Right on. Oh my god, we're gonna have hours of fun with this. You can go to the cat. Oh, that's very pretty.
Here's my tiara.
Is this all the effects or is there more?
You can randomize at the bottom.
Oh, that's just on headwear. What else have I got? Ooh. Ooh, I've always wanted a monocle. Oh, look at that.
I just hit random and it gave me these 3.
You're like the dodgiest sex offender I've ever seen. It's brilliant.
Oh my god.
Oh. Yeah. Look at that. I'm Captain Pirate Dog. Oh, there's sounds as well. Not going to use the sounds. Oh, you can have backgrounds too. Bobby, you know this is just going to end up being a moneymaker, right?
No.
Bong. Very good. Very good, very good.
Good. Oh, that's what that one is. How long before... Don't think Bobby's liking this. Oh, I need to remove the beard. Yeah. Come on, beard. I could be a pirate. Are you just looking at Toby and thinking, yeah, really, really weird. Funny thing is, he's still recording all this.
Oh, he is, isn't he? Just make a nice little compilation at the end.
Alright. Good God.
I look like somebody's creepy uncle.
I can't believe you're not somebody's creepy uncle.
I am, actually. I'm not creepy, but I am somebody's uncle.
Okay,
Well,
ready?
Can I keep the hat, Bobby?
No, get the hell out of here with that nonsense.
But look good.
What the hell's wrong with you guys?
You
We're the
can't
mad-
say you don't enjoy it, Bobby.
It's funny for us, but like wackos.